Which brings us to the new Superman movie. It's shortly to appear in cinemas. And before we get into what the new Superman is all about, let's just reminisce for a moment about how good Superman used to be. Here's the old Superman.
Good evening, Officer Mooney. Well, they say confession's good for the soul. I'd listen to this man. Take him away.
Truth, Justice and the American Way. What a great movie Superman was. Great franchise. Until now, with the new director, James Gunn, announcing that Superman is really a story about an immigrant that comes from other places looking for kindness. Now, obviously, he's positioning this new movie to be part of the debate over how Trump is treating illegals and whether or not Trump's policies are fair and kind. After all, Superman arrived from another planet, a refugee, a migrant looking for love. Of course, what the left miss out is that he was raised in middle America by Christian parents to assimilate as a good American and uphold law and order. Here's a clip from the new Superman out soon, which, by the director's own admission, is highly political.
Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're going to be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman.
He's anti-woke. He's
being arrested by ICE officials.
He hasn't been arrested. Okay, I just have to... Okay, Superman, the original movie, 1978, starring Christopher Reeve, is my favourite film of all time. I'm an absolute Superman tragic, and everything they've basically done since then. I like Superman 3, controversial, The Quest for Peace, we're not even talking about it. Then Superman Returns, terrible, Man of Steel, and now they've had to reboot the whole thing because Batman vs Superman, Justice League were absolute dogs, right? So this is rebooting the entire Superman universe, and I have got my entire heart just resting, hanging on this movie.
Your heart is about to be ripped out of your chest and thrown on the ground.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I've watched all of those trailers about 50 million times. You are absolutely right. Superman is a good, God-fearing Christian American. He was actually created by two Jewish boys, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. He fights for truth, justice, the American way. That's absolutely clear. He does happen to be an immigrant from the planet Krypton, but he does get raised by Ma and Pa Kent in Middle America. And the guy they've got playing his adoptive father is not Kevin Costner anymore. He's a fat, pot-bellied, bearded, Trump-voting farmer. You can tell it just by looking at him. His adopted mum cleans his boots. That's one of the few lines of things. She goes, "I've just cleaned your boots for you, son. These guys are Trump voters. Don't worry, kids. It's totally safe." And when Lois Lane is having that fight with him in that interview, it's because he decided to just go in there, cut through all the bureaucratic red tape, go in there, crack some skulls, stop a war from happening. And she's saying, "Oh, why didn't you have the appropriate government approval?" She is the deep state. He is the freedom fighter.
I'm not so convinced about Joe's base take on the new Superman movie. It sounds like it is going to be a rerun of what we have seen flop so many times in Hollywood. We just saw Disney spend, in total, they spent about $410 million on the new Snow White remake, and they made only $200 million on it. That is a huge loss, and that has been repeated time and time again since the early 2010s, all of these movie franchises remaking iconic classics, but feeling the need to make them updated and progressive to fit with the times, and in the end, they just butcher them. And I do not understand when these people will realise that ordinary folks don't want to go to the movies and be lectured at about politics.
I tell you who does get it, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is about the only person who understands when you go to a movie, you just want to enjoy the movie, but instead, James Gunn, director of the new Superman movie, says it's about politics and it's about morality. I don't want to hear about politics and morality from Hollywood directors, but he's got a message for people like me who don't want to go to the movies and be lectured. He says, and I quote, "People like them, quote unquote, screw them." That's what Hollywood thinks of its audience.